What's up? It's your boy Donovan, and in this week's art vlog, I'm designing a avatar or like a mascot for my YouTube channel. If you're a subscriber, you probably already saw the sketches and the doodles that I posted for the inspiration for my character. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been digitizing those and trying a bunch of different combinations of facial expressions and body proportions so that I could really figure out which version of the character really works for me. We're going to take a look again at some of those doodles and sketches that were the inspiration, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the digital versions. So let's hop right into it. All right, I want to start with a page from this art diary that I started in 2018. I never filled the entire thing up, but I took it with me when I went on a deployment because I was in the Navy, a 6-month deployment in Southeast Asia. I knew that I would need a lot of coping mechanisms to keep myself sane while there was very little internet and very little communication with the outside world aside from the people that I was on the ship with. So I took that time to really focus on what kind of artist I wanted to be and how I wanted to develop my craft. One thing that became very, very important for me was using art as play and not taking myself so seriously so that I could more easily develop a style that speaks to me. This is the first full page in that art diary. And looking at this, I'm actually really kind of emotional, a little nostalgic, because I was really diving into specific techniques that I definitely need to get back to. Collage was very, very important for me. Matisse was a very big inspiration. So all of these sheets of paper were hand painted by me and then cut out into random shapes and placed together to create one full composition. One thing that I did do is I limited my color palette. And so limiting the color palette really does allow me to create a cohesive page or a cohesive character. And this is going to be really important when it comes to the character design. Okay, so I want to show you a page from this sketchbook from 2018. Yeah, so I did this about a month before I went out on the ship on the deployment. And this was really the inspiration for the entire character design. It has all of those elements that I just mentioned. So this character was made out of sheets of paper that I hand painted myself and then cut out shapes and hand collaged them together. Some of the notes that I wrote along with this sketchbook page are: art should be play, experimentation, building, trying, testing, destroying, building again, constant changing and rearranging, customizing and personalizing. This is another piece that I did that has that same theme, that collage, that play, fun. This is definitely inspired by Matisse, but the bold colors, the kind of like rigid shapes just make me so happy. So I knew that was the feel that I wanted to have when I designed this character. I practice various versions of this type of character design. I try drawing different characters with the same feel. These designs are also from 2018. This one, I have created a digital version of her in one of my most recent art blogs. It's going to be in the video that's all about digital character design. But I just wanted to make sure that I could come up with a style that was unique, but still consistent across every character that I would make. So now if we look at some of the doodles that I posted in my community tab on my channel, you'll see how those are sort of different versions of the same sort of themed characters. Friend of the channel, Devi, who also has his own YouTube channel, recommended that I sort of combine a few of the elements from a few of the different doodles, and I did exactly that. Thank you so much for the recommendation, Devi. It honestly helped me out so much. Devi is also an artist, so make sure you check out their channel if you like the stuff that I post. So I got this new sketchbook for my birthday, which just passed, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And I've already started filling it with sketches of my mascot and my character design avatar. It's actually the first things that I put into this sketchbook, so that's fun. So the first page, I was kind of just imitating what I've already drawn in the past with these first, like the two largest characters on the first page of the sketchbook are definitely inspired by the sketches that I already had posted on the community tab. I really like the feel that they have. I tried to give them a bit of my personal taste like my personality and the way that I like to dress or the way that I was used to dress. I also wanted to sort of represent the brand name Boy Donovan. I know I don't really give boy, but I want the character to give boy, you know? After sketching out these two characters here, I realized I had to decide on the proportions of the character. So basically, like when a cartoon is designed, you have to know exactly how big the head is in comparison to the body, how big the ears are in comparison to the head, so that you can draw the character consistently. So that was something that I needed to play around with. I played around with the proportion a bit on this page. This is more of a fashion illustration proportion. It's more realistic like body proportions, but still like with a very emphasized leg length. I do like the proportions of this character. I just believe this one would be used for something totally different than just being the mascot of my YouTube channel. Same with this one that is colored in with Posca markers here. I was just testing some things out without erasing, so I just drew this one completely with marker. It didn't turn out too bad. The pose is awkward because I didn't use pencil beforehand, but I kind of liked how it came out, and I just wanted to get familiar with the shapes that I was using and familiar with the technique that I was using to draw this character. Next to that one, I have a bunch of possible poses to put the character in, to see if I really do like the character proportions. So after I went and did that second and third page, I came back to my first page and I just saw how much cuter these first two designs were. They were done more intuitively, and I realized it's because that their proportions are different from the other ones that I drew. So I even tried drawing a little chibi version on this page as well, just to give myself some practice. A couple of them actually, just to make sure that I could actually draw them. I didn't do a whole lot of sketches on paper, aside from the ones that I just showed you. After I made those, I went ahead and moved right on into digital. And I designed the first versions in Illustrator and created this file with 4 artboards where I could try out different proportions for the character's body parts. So in the first one, it's the closest to the characters that I drew. There's a larger head, but still kind of a realistic ratio of the torso to the legs. The one underneath that gets more realistic. The head gets smaller, but the body, I believe, stays just about the same. And that looks more like a fashion illustration or like an older character, a teenage character, or just a more realistic character. Or the silhouetted versions of the characters really did help me to determine how I wanted them to look, because I wasn't focused on all of the detail. And so I was able to really see like exactly what my character was going to give once I put them on my screen. That one you can see it. The shape I really focused on was a triangle. It was important to me to exaggerate the pants in that version versus in the head versus any other features. But I think I'm going to mostly use like the most simplified silhouette that I have, the cutest silhouette that I have, in order to move forward with the design. Once I was able to get the silhouette down, I decided, okay, let's go ahead and get some of these inner details. So the first version I did in all line, like just plain black and white line, so that I could see exactly what details I was going to be putting in. The second version is color with an outline, just to see if I would like that. I was really in love with that version until I did the third one without the outline, and it just freed up the design so much, and it just made it feel so much more, I don't know, happy and light. And then I am working on a fourth one with some alternative colors. In the future, I'll also have to design some alternative outfits for the character. I'll have to work on designing some poses, some emotes, like some expressions, some animations, like simple things, but these are the first few steps in bringing this mascot to life. So I really like where I'm at so far, because I was thinking about different poses and different facial expressions, because the character right now is a little bit blank, right? It gives a little bit like Hello Kitty. How Hello Kitty has a very distinct silhouette and a very distinct shape, but her face is very plain. She doesn't even have a mouth. She doesn't make very many facial expressions. And so I think the standard default character is not going to be very expressive in the face. But I did come up with some alternative sketches in case I want to add more emotion into the face later on. And these are some of the sketches that I have. I like what they look like so far. I just have to come up with the rules, I guess, for designing this character in a consistent way. I'm also trying to decide on how to best design the poses that I'm going to put her in, because she's not always just going to be standing static and still. So I tried practicing that as well. I think she works best as this very like rudimentary sort of character, this very flat character. She looks amazing in my opinion. But I would love to hear what you all's thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching this art vlog. If you guys have any opinions or anything that you want to see, either with this specific mascot, this character, or even just for my channel, please feel free to drop a comment and let me know, or check in on my community posts because I ask questions there sometimes too. Thank you so much for watching the video. This has been Bloy Donovan, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!